own need. So sustainable development is a way for people to use resources without the resources running out. So the goal of sustainable development is to meet the needs of today, compromising the needs of tomorrow. So this means that we cannot continue using the current of resources, as this will not leave enough for future generations. So sustainable development contains within its two key concepts, so the concept of needs and the idea of limitation. So when we say the concept of needs is, in particular, the essential needs of the world's poor to which overriding priority should be given. And the idea of limitations by the state of technology and social organization on the environment's ability to meet present and future needs. So the given definition of sustainable development that is most commonly used definition is from our common future. So it is a paper by the United Nations World Commission on Environment and Development. So it is WCED that is being published in 1987. So next is World Commission on Environment and Development, so WCED, which is popularly known as the Brundtland Commission. So it is headed by our chairman, Gro Harlem Brundtland. And next is the World Bank, under its Development Education Program, or the DEP, tries to simplify the concept of sustainable development by citing examples of conflicting needs. The World Bank, under its Development Education Program, or the DEP, tries to simplify the concept of sustainable development by citing examples of conflicting needs. So it stresses the need to find a balance among social, economic, and environmental needs. So the first decade of the 21st century could be characterized with collapsing financial markets, rising unemployment rate, shrinking middle class, and deeper inequalities. Not only that, said decade is also bounded with extreme indebtedness, inability of governments to force through reforms, scarcity which lead to the challenge and the availability of resources, and of course, the climate change. So according to Beck, 1986, the main reason for the problems of the first decade of the 21st century has been the inability of modern societies to produce stability and sustainability. Next is stability. So it is associated with firmness, position, performance, and resistance to change, especially in disruptive way. So the IMF, or the International Monetary Fund, described stability as in avoiding large swings in economic activity, high inflation and excessive volatility in exchange rates and financial markets. So it is according to International Monetary Fund 2012. So next is in Visayas State University in Baybay City, Leyte, Philippines, a technology was initiated in the early 1990s that was designed to promote sustainable development and at the same time addresses the call to save Mother Nature. So this technology was referred to as the rainforestation. So as a technology, rainforestation came into being in response to the rapid biodiversity loss in the Philippines. So rainforestation is a technology designed to make use of productive lands by planting native tree species which are not widely used in the Philippine government's reforestation program. So this technology found its way to Visayas State University since in the early 1990s, the Philippine-German Applied Tropical Ecology Project started to look into possibilities of rehabilitating former forested areas to get back the ecological functions of the degraded areas needed for poverty alleviation through sustainable rural development. As a fact, biodiversity in the Philippines is one of the richest in the world because it is part of the 17 mega-diverse countries which collectively claim 2/3 of all global species. So yet, 70% of the Philippine forests have vanished from the 1930s to 1998. So next is, there have been two major causes of Philippine forest loss. So they refer to the conversion of primary forests to secondary forests by both legal and illegal logging, as well as the removal of secondary forests covered by the expansion of upland agriculture. So because of this, massive reforestation has been initiated by the government. However, the Philippine government has introduced programs to rehabilitate denuded lands, the efforts of both government and private sectors have not been enough to abate the rapid deforestation rate of the Philippine forest. So it is according to Kalikasan People's Network 2011. Because of this, massive reforestation has been initiated by the government. So, the Philippine government has introduced programs to rehabilitate denuded lands. The efforts of both the government and private sectors have not been enough to abate the rapid deforestation rate of the Philippine forest. So it is according to Kalikasan People's Network 2011. So not only that, decades-long reforestation efforts using fast-growing exotic species has led to the alteration of Philippine rainforest into simply forest plantation, which failed to bring back ecosystem function. So it is according to Haribon Foundation 2005. After all, exotic trees cannot replace Philippine native trees because they are not suited to Philippine climate. So I will now give the floor to Ms. Iloveyoulove to continue our topic.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Rowella Carolisaurus, and I will be going to discuss the 4 adapters of rainforestation, the economic models, the national economic model, the firms, the gross domestic product, and the Human Development Index. So, the 4 adopters of rainforestation are Mr. Manuel Posas, Mr. Rene Vindiola, Mayor Eufrasio Maratas, and Mr. Romeo Gutang. Mr. Manuel Posas came from Barangay Marcos Baybay, Leyte. He was the first to adopt rainforestation in the year 1995. He had successfully converted an idle and the denuded grassland into a small forest full of Philippine native trees. So the next one is Mr. Rene Vindiola. Mr. Rene Vindiola, or also called as Tatay Iti, came from Barangay Leptong, Bacoong, Negros Oriental. So Mr. Vindiola Rainforestation Farm has served as an inspiration for many Negrense to also adopt rainforestation, since his rainforestation farm had given him the opportunity to venture into ecotourism. So the third one is Mayor Eufrasio Maratas. Mayor Eufrasio Maratas, or some people called him Dodong, came from Pilar, Camotes Island, Cebu. As a public servant, he acquired his interest in rainforestation way back to the year when he was still a councillor in his municipality. So he was convinced with the idea of rainforestation since he perceived it as a way to save and sustain the watershed areas in his island municipality. So the fourth one is Mr. Romeo Gutang. Mr. Romeo Gutang was also living in Pilar, Camotes Island, Cebu. So he is a school teacher at Dapdap Elementary School in Pilar, Camotes. So as an educator for very young pupils, he realized that one of the ways to encourage people to care for Mother Nature is to start the advocacy for nature conservation, starting it by himself. So let's now move on to the economic models. So economic models is a hypothetical construct that embodies economic procedures using a set of variables in logical and/or quantitative correlations. So examples of economic models include the classical model and the production possibility frontier. So economic models are used by economists to communicate current economic conditions, causes and effect on the future economy. So the national economic model paved the way for rapid expansion of neoliberal ideology together with its corresponding problems. So the first problems leads to increased exposition of the world economic system and crisis and contagion effect. The second one is problems in relation to efficiency. The third one, it has to deal with the legitimacy of market-based solutions. So these 3 are the problems that was faced by the national economic model. So let us now move on to the firms. So firms, which is construed to be the most important actors for welfare creation. So firms is a for-profit business organization that buys and sells products and or services to consumers with the aim of making a profit. So a business entity such as corporation, the LLC or the limited liability company, the partnership, and the sole proprietorship. So the four that I was mentioned earlier was already discussed during our junior high school days. So I will not collaborate it more. So let us now move on to the gross domestic product, or the GDP. So the GDP is the measurement of the performance of national economies. So GDP represents the monetary value of all goods and services produced within a national geographic borders over a specified period of time. So in calculating the GDP, GDP equals private consumption plus gross investment plus government investment plus government spending and they exports and imports. So the next one is the Human Development Index, or the HDI. So Human Development Index, a static composite indicator that is used to rank the levels of development among countries. So HDI was classified into three components. So namely, life expectancy, or year at birth, life expectancy, or expected years of schooling. So it refers to the education of the person. Now, the last one is the standard of living, the GDP GNI per capita. So that is what HDI is. So these are my topics that I will be going to tackle, and I hope you learned something, and that would be all. Thank you.
So good afternoon everyone, my name is Leon Iloveyoulove. My topic is all about sustainability problems and environmental issues and resources. Okay, raising awareness of the sustainability problem in environment issues and resources translated also in international cooperation. The German Technical Corporation, or GTC, in 1990s and the Yale Universities alone, but with Environment Leaders Training Initiatives, or ELTI, starting 2018, and has continued to support reforestation, implementation, and the present. The international stage, there have already been various conferences on climate change and framework agreements like the Kyoto Protocol on the reduction of greenhouse gases. Many countries have viewed such as global actions against climate change as posing a threat to their vital economic interests, especially to those of the developing countries. The issues on the population imbalances, such as overpopulation in many Asian countries and the problem of aging population in many industrialized countries, stage 2014. So, the from different countries make an action to reduce climate change and greenhouse gases is because it can affect and being progress. That's why they promote reforestation for the betterment of our global world. So that's all. Thank you.